Well, Stevie Nicol, this was going to be a chat about Cristiano Ronaldo's next club because so many signs so far this close season have suggested that he could be on his way, maybe Chelsea and Bayern Munich, who've both been linked with him. However, comments from Erik ten Hag over the weekend suggest that Manchester United could be his destination, i.e. staying put for next season. Before we get to other options and where might work, does staying at Old Trafford suit all parties?
No. I think first and foremost, if you have a player who doesn't want to be there or at a club, then you're starting off on the wrong foot, just from the get-go. And the fact that Ten Hag's come in and it's pretty much a rebuild this season, I would suggest it could be easier in the long run for Ten Hag not to have Ronaldo. I mean, can you imagine Ronaldo not wanting to be there? Such a big ego, but such a big presence, particularly in the dressing room and on the field. Can you imagine a Ronaldo sulking around, not getting the ball if things are not going well? So I would think for Ten Hag, maybe Ronaldo not being there actually would clear the decks and give him a little bit of space to breathe and try and, as I said, rebuild the club basically from the bottom up. So, yeah, I would suggest it's better for him to go. He doesn't want to be there. And as I said right at the very start, when you have such a big presence that doesn't want to be there, that doesn't make any sense to me that you try and keep him. And certainly if you can get rid of him, I think you get rid of him.
You don't always get what you want in football, and he's on a pretty penny. And I'm sure there are other teams that could afford him. But if no one can come up with what Manchester United are looking for, or if Erik ten Hag says, nope, regardless of what he thinks, I want to keep him, I want to make him part of my plans for next season, then he stays where he is. And given what he did last season, 18 goals in the league, is it up to others to step up their game at Old Trafford if he does stay? And again, we'll get to possible destinations shortly where he might go. But surely the supporting cast at Old Trafford needs to be better than last season if Ronaldo stays for another 12 months.
Well, there's no question that the only person that was producing last year was Ronaldo. But we're talking about a team that needs a new way of playing, a new identity. I mean, we're not talking about just one thing. We've been talking recently about, what does City need? What do Liverpool need? We're talking about a player here, and a player there. Manchester United need 4 or 5, or maybe even 5 and 6. And so this is a complete makeover we're talking about here. And so I don't think it's a case of players stepping up. It's a case of finding out who you are as a team and not individuals, because last year's problem was there was too many playing for themselves and not for the club. So I really don't see it as the other 10 have to step up. The other 10 have to figure out how to get him the ball regularly in the penalty box, because that's where he'll be most of the time. And if you can do that, then he'll score you goals. But the other 10 have to figure out how to become a team. Because quite frankly, Ronaldo's going to be the spearhead, and it's going to be up to the other 10, as I said, not to step up, but to figure out all the pieces of the puzzle and certainly play consistently and certainly have an identity.
Okay, that's if he stays. If he goes, let's look at the 3 most likely options according to the odds makers right now. And if he was to leave Man United, Chelsea would be the favourites according to the bookies. So, hypothetically, where would he fit in at Chelsea? Would you play him through the middle? Would you have Raheem Sterling on one side? What would you do? How would Chelsea's front 3 be made up with Ronaldo in it?
Well, he has to play through the middle. He's not playing wide. He doesn't get around the way he did. So he's shown last season in the Premier League that he's still got the sharpness in and around the penalty box to score goals. And so that's where you have to play him. If they play with a 3, I'm not sure. Because if you sign Ronaldo, you have to play him, and he has to play through the middle. Has to play as a number 9. You've signed Sterling, he has to come off that left-hand side. So that means, what do you do with Werner? What do you do with Havertz? Havertz by the end of last season seemed to be the one constant. for Chelsea as far as the front line was concerned. But he played through the middle. You can't have him and Ronaldo playing as number 9s. You know, does Havertz drop back in? Does Havertz not play? Who plays on the right-hand side? You know, it seems like Ziyech is gone. Do you put Pulisic over there? I mean, I don't know. It's very difficult to figure out what the makeup of the side would be with Ronaldo. I think without Ronaldo, Havertz will go through the middle. I think it's straightforward. But with Ronaldo, where does Havertz play? Unless they go to an old-fashioned 4-4-2, play 2 of them up the front, and Havertz drops off. But then that means that you're putting Sterling as an old-fashioned outside left. That's not where you want him, or the sort of job you want him doing. There are so many questions at Chelsea right now without Ronaldo. But with Ronaldo coming, there's even more questions. Now, the fact is, Ronaldo will score Chelsea goals. Chelsea need a goal scorer. And you can't argue that that's what he would do if he goes to Chelsea. The makeup of the rest of the side, though, would have to change, certainly if Havertz is to play as well.
If you're Thomas Tuchel, do you want Cristiano Ronaldo, and do you need Cristiano Ronaldo?
Do you want goals in your team? That's the question. And the answer, for any coach, if somebody says, I'm going to give you a guy who's probably going to get you 20 Premier League goals a season, how can you turn that down? Now, I've just told you that it creates problems elsewhere, but you know what? Are you really going to turn down 20-odd goals in the Premier League? I don't think you can. I find it impossible that any coach who's pretty much guaranteed 20 goals in the Premier League from the centre forward, which is why they bought Lukaku, by the way, last year, because they thought he would guarantee them 20. I don't see how you don't do it.
What's the chances of Cristiano Ronaldo playing alongside Sadio Mane at Bayern Munich next season, do you think?
Well, again, I would suggest that would be a good move for Bayern Munich. You know, you're losing if they indeed lose Lewandowski, you're losing a guy again who guarantees you 30 goals in the Bundesliga, which Ronaldo maybe could get you as well. So I would have no problem Ronaldo at Bayern. It's the same thing. Again, why would Bayern's got to replace at least 30 goals a season. Ronaldo or Haaland that's gone to City, what other centre forward can they go and get that pretty much guarantees them that? There isn't really anybody. So again, I think it's a no-brainer for Bayern. Problem is, Bayern will not spend the money that Ronaldo would need, particularly in wages, to go there. They don't do it. They should probably break their system for 1 year to have him. That would give them some breathing space. It would give them 12 months maybe to figure out who their next centre forward is. Because Mane can play centre forward, but he's not a natural. He's better coming from a wide area. So again, Bayern Munich, why would you turn down that amount of goals? That doesn't make sense either.
So you've made the case that he would get goals for Chelsea, and that might work. You've made the case that he would get goals for Bayern if Lewandowski went, and that might work. How do we make the case for Mbappe, Messi, Neymar, and Ronaldo? Are they not just going to bother defending at all? PSG could, in any plan, I mean, look, it'd be fun to watch. Could it work?
No, they don't defend already. That's all they need, another one. Listen, if Neymar goes, then I would have no problem with Ronaldo being there. Again, it's the same thing. They don't have a centre forward. You know, Mbappe I think Mbappe, again, prefers to come from a wider area. So they actually don't have a centre forward because Messi doesn't want to play centre forward. Neymar doesn't want to play centre forward. So if they sign Ronaldo, then they have to get rid of somebody. And it would be and should be Neymar. And I think that would work because, as I said, they would have a figurehead at the top because that's where Ronaldo has to play these days. And Ronaldo, regardless, as I've said, will get you goals. They'll certainly get you goals at PSG and Ligue 1. And he gets goals in the in the Champions League as well. So, yeah, if Neymar goes, Neymar doesn't go, then it's not happening.
Yeah, I was going to say that's a sensible answer to replace Neymar. Can you imagine? And you're welcome. Just think for us hypothetically, right? Ronaldo goes to PSG, and the three of them are still there. How do you get the ball if you're one of the teammates? Even if you're one of the four, I mean, how
Well, it's
on
easily
earth?
solved. It's easily solved. Well, you play with two balls. That's your only hope.
I mean, it's box office, but is there any way at all, if Neymar doesn't go, that the four of them could play in one team?
Not a chance. Not a chance.
So right now, finally, it looks like he's potentially staying at Manchester United. If he leaves Chelsea or Bayern, anybody else you want to throw out? Barcelona or anybody else that he might end up going to? No, just say
Barcelona. You need money. You need money if you want Ronaldo. So you can forget Barcelona. No. I think the ones that we talked about are the only ones that could maybe do it, and the only ones that make sense for him to go to as well.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.